Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to the GM. It is your guy, Boulanger. Up next on the GM, what could the Baltimore Ravens be getting in wide receiver Diontae Johnson? Let's talk. As we all know, the Baltimore Ravens traded for wide receiver Diontae Johnson from the Carolina Panthers earlier this week, or last week, depending on when the end of your week is. Nevertheless, right, the conversation around that particular trade has been more about the deal or value of deal that EDC pulled off versus the value in the actual player. The deal basically was a pick swap where the Baltimore Ravens received Diontae Johnson and a number. The actual deal was the Baltimore Ravens received Diontae Johnson and a sixth-round pick, and the Carolina Panthers received a fifth. Now, when you really think about it, that's essentially a pick swap. But that's what the hype has been around. But I'm going to talk about or specify what the Baltimore Ravens could be getting in Johnson. The first thing I think that the Baltimore Ravens are getting in Johnson is a player who is hungry. Not hungry just for a new deal, but hungry to prove that he is still a valuable asset to a team. He got a bad rap at the end of his time in Pittsburgh. He also got a bad rap at the end of his time in Carolina. And so he's going to come in trying to dispel all of those negative perceptions that he would have walked in the door with. And we know in Baltimore, we absolutely will give a guy a second chance and sometimes even a third chance. The second thing I think that the Baltimore Ravens are getting from Diontae Johnson is going to be a guy who has explosive potential. When you take a look at these clips that I'm going to show you in a minute, I want you to pay close attention to the type of coverage he's beating, the type of yardage he's picking up, and also what he does after the catch. So let's take a look.
OT. Trubisky dials up a deep one. Oh, tremendous Diontae Johnson. Patriots with a dime package. Ninth play of the drive for Pittsburgh. 3rd and 17. Trubisky steps up, rifles it to the outside, and it's a catch just short of him. They trail 17-12. The 2-point try for Pittsburgh. Trubisky, they handle the rush. He throws it, laying out Diontae Johnson. Put it on the board.
And now on 3rd and 6, here comes some pressure. And Pickett fires a strike. Did he get both feet in bounds? Yes. Diontae Johnson's had a couple of nice catches.
Big time yardage up inside.
Now setting up at the 44.
Deep shot, Pickett looking for a man, and he's got Diontae Johnson down inside the New Orleans 20.
Two things I love, right? You get the one-on-one. You see this, the safety just sitting in the middle of the field. Puts a great ball.
George Pickens begins this series on the sideline. Pickett rolling right, throws on the run. Nice throw to Diontae Johnson. Out of bounds in front of Darren Hall after a 20-yard pickup.
And Trubisky, he's got it. Diontae Johnson slipping on the side, but got the first down. 2nd down, 10. Harris in the backfield. Pressure up the middle. Drilled as he threw. Caught! Diontae Johnson working on Marlon Humphrey.
Yeah, see, when you look at his film, you see a guy who can make the tough catch. He can get open with a level of consistency, and he's showing off pretty good hands in these clips. Now, I know these are highlights, and all players have lowlights, right? But I think that his drops or lack of hand quality, if I can say it that way, I think it's sometimes overstated because there is no wide receiver that has a 100% catch rate. None, right? And so when guys have some drops, when guys have some inconsistencies, sometimes they get excoriated and we kind of categorize them as not good players. But I absolutely think that Diontae Johnson is an upgrade over the previously number 3 wide receiver, Nelson Agholor. Now, he may not show up this week in that 3rd spot, but I absolutely think he overtakes Nelson Agholor pretty quickly in rotation minutes or rotation plays. All right. The third thing I think that the Baltimore Ravens are getting in Diontae Johnson is a guy who will help open up the offense even more. Let's take a look at a few more clips, and then I'll come back and provide some more commentary.
Trubisky over the middle. It's got his man in the middle of the field. Diontae Johnson, and Johnson just out to the 40-yard line and up for a first down.
Pickett circle. Oh! Almost an interception. Instead, it's a big game by Diontae Johnson. That looked like a pick 6 written all over it.
Don't sub. Don't huddle. 3rd and 4.
four-man rush, making throws, it's caught for the first down. And on the move is Diontae Johnson down the sideline, into the red zone at the 15-yard line. So now here's a 3rd and 8. Pickett running out of time, escapes one tackler, throws on the run, finds his man, 20, 15. Diontae Johnson looking for the end zone and comes up shot.
Yeah, when you take a look at these clips holistically, what you will see is a guy who's consistent in that 10 to 12 yard catch, chain mover, and good with the ball after the catch, yak yards, if you will. And the thing is, we have solid receivers, right? Zay is a solid receiver. Sometimes he can be great. Bateman is a solid receiver, and sometimes he can be less than great, okay? And Rashad Bateman has not developed that level of consistency on a week-to-week basis. Case in point, last week, and this is not to jump on Bate. I think he's had a really good year. But what a Diontae Johnson will do is add another guy who can add some consistency. Well, why could he add some consistency? Well, when you look at his whole career, number one, he's caught an average of 55 plus balls every single season, over 800 yards every single season. His best being 1,100 yards. I think his 3rd or 4th year in Pittsburgh. And so, but when you look at his catch average or average per catch, it's between 10 and 11 yards. Well, when you look at this season, he has 30 catches for 357 yards, 3 touchdowns, but that catch average is 11.9, which is right on what he's been in his entire career. What does that speak to? Consistency. He's a consistent chain mover, which is what we need. This Baltimore Ravens offense sometimes does get caught in a lull, does get caught in a funk, and sometimes that can last 2 or 3 drives. But adding a guy like Diontae Johnson, who is a proven chain mover, who is a proven guy who can get open against most any coverage, this is the kind of guy we add. Yes, he's not the big body receiver. He's not the 6'3", 6'4" guy who can make the big catch or the downfield catch and have a large catch radius, but he is a guy throughout his career who has been consistent. When you think about the negative perception that has been placed on Diontae Johnson, I think you have to really consider why he may have had a bad attitude at some of his stops. Well, let me give you the reason, okay? Ben Roethlisberger at the end, Kenny Pickett, Mason Rudolph, Mitchell Trubisky, Bryce Young, and Andy Dalton. Those are all quarterbacks that he's had to catch balls from. Some of these guys have a high level of inconsistency. Some of these guys will throw interceptions. Some of these guys will overthrow the ball or throw the ball short. And for a wide receiver, what do they want? They want the ball, right? And so you are going to be frustrated if you're a wide receiver and your quarterback can't get you the ball with the level of consistency. And I think that plays into a part of the broken concentration that you may see him have sometimes. If you don't really believe in your quarterback, right, and you're running a route, if the ball doesn't look like it's coming your way, then sometimes you will break concentration. I know you may say, well, that's a level of unprofessionalism, so on and so forth. But I think that it could be unprofessional, but it's also the human element, right? And so I think that he's going to be reinvigorated in Baltimore, a team that does have a chance to compete in the playoffs, a team that does have a chance to make a Super Bowl run. And I think that he could absolutely be a needle mover if Todd Monken does what he needs to do and include him in the week-to-week game plan. Because again, just like Zay, just like Bate, Diontae Johnson does have the ability to get elite level separation against any type of coverage. And so adding a guy like that will absolutely spread out the offense where you can go 3 wide outs and open up the middle of the field more for the tight ends, so on and so forth. But also, let's say if Zay draws the number 1 coverage, you still have Diontae Johnson and Bate who can be secondary coverages. Or let's say Diontae Johnson draws the number 1 coverage, you have the other 2 guys who can pull the secondary coverage. And so I just think that he's going to be an added benefit. You may not see it today against Denver, but I think you certainly have an opportunity to see something new from Diontae Johnson starting Thursday night against the Cincinnati Bengals. And I think that's an added bonus, because nobody has seen the Baltimore Ravens with this added piece, right? And so I'm excited to see what he can do, man. I'm your guy, Boulanger. Let me know what you think he could do for the Ravens? Do you think he helps open up this offense, or do you think this is just another ho-hum train? I'm out.